feel like the big draw of this movie is the violence. Like, it's the action. Like, I'm thinking of like the Eminem song, like, hi kids, do you like violence? Like, yes, we do. And it's here. If you were disturbed by the Will Smith slap, this movie is gonna disturb you, because violence. Like, it is violent. And it's violent in the best way, because, don't we love violence? Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be reviewing the new Netflix movie Extraction 2. We have Chris Hemsworth back as Tyler Rake. Now, I personally really loved the first Extraction. Like, I mean, obsessively. That is my movie. And this time around, we have Tyler Rake off to rescue his extended family, the sister of his previous wife and her 2 kids, when her husband, who is a dangerous criminal, has her and her kids locked in prison with him. Now, first of all, I will say, although I enjoyed this movie, action-wise, I felt like the story was extremely lacking. It felt like a huge downgrade from the first movie. And yeah, the first movie has a pretty simple story, pretty simple villains. However, it came across way better the first time. With this second story, one of the top things that I don't like with the movie is how they try to add like a personal stake for Tyler Rake. I felt like the little sprinkling of, his son dying and having an ex-wife that we got in the first movie, that was good enough. We did not need to come back this second time around to kind of add to that personal story. It really added nothing to the movie for me. It was very unnecessary. When it comes to him, Tyler, protecting this family, it literally felt like it could have been anybody. Like, I did not see a difference in him protecting the kid from the first movie and his family in the second movie. I just felt like it was very unnecessary for the family to be related to him in any way. It could have just been him being hired to do a job, just like the first time around. I'm not sure why we needed that personal motivation. It was very blah for me, because I can see if you add in a personal motivation and it feels like the stakes are higher. It feels like there's like a new battery in the back of our protagonist. I didn't feel that way. Like I said, it just kind of felt like a mirror of the first movie as far as protection and, trying to get through the mission. I did not see anything elevated in that part of Tyler. Now, the basic story of him trying to protect this family, because the husband has them in jail. So we basically have 2 pretty generic villains that are entertaining enough, decent enough. They're not a drawback or a negative to the movie. When the movie first starts off, we pretty much pick up where the first movie stopped at, but I'ma just let it slide. But his survival was kind of unrealistic for me. When the first movie ends, he gets shot in the neck. He lets the wound go, which means all the blood is gushing. He falls over the bridge into the water, and we get like these soldiers that this young girl finds him floating on shore. Literally, it looks like a scene from Jaws. Like, why was it gallons of blood in the water? Like, it looked crazy. It looked like a shark attack. But she runs off to get some soldiers, and they pull him out and are going to save his life. And we get this scene where he's like on the plane, and they're trying to like, you can see him like breathe, like as if his heart has stopped. But I don't see nobody tending to a wound on his neck. I don't know. I just felt like that shot in the neck that he got from the kid in the first movie, that was the fatal wound that shot him off the bridge. And I didn't see nobody tend to that wound, but whatever. So the first minutes of the movie is a little lackluster for me. We pretty much just see Tyler being rescued, Tyler in the hospital. Doctors are pretty much telling his partner Nick to like it ain't no hope or whatever, but she's still holding out. I want to say he's like in a coma, and then a nurse is like tending to him and he wakes up. Then we get a scene of he goes to this cabin in the middle of nowhere. And I'm not sure why we are in a cabin in the middle of nowhere. Why are we not just in a general neighborhood? I don't know. But he is in this little cabin and he's visited by Idris Elba, who I kind of perked up. I didn't know he was going to be in the movie. And I was like, oh, I like Idris Elba. I like anytime he is around. And I just finished binging the Fast movies to do a video, and I had no idea Idris Elba was in one of those Fast movies, and I actually liked seeing him in like a villainous role. So when he popped up here, I was kind of like, oh, okay, here he go. Is this finna be? But no, he's not a villain here, but he was still fun to watch. I will say though, Idris is a positive and a negative. He's a positive because he's Idris Elba. He's a great actor, great screen presence. I enjoy seeing him. However, his dialogue was a little lame, and I felt like his character was very underutilized. I get them trying to like shroud him in this mystery, but it felt very unnecessary for him to be the person to deliver this message, especially when you're trying to add a personal factor. Idris Elba comes to Tyler for him to do this job, which Tyler isn't interested until Idris says, well, it's your ex-wife. Okay, so why didn't the ex-wife come ask him to do the job? Like, don't ask me to do you a personal favor through someone else. Like, why can't you ask me to do the personal favor? I don't know. It felt very nonsensical to me. It felt very unnecessary for it to be Idris Elba here. I do like how they ended the movie with his character opening a doorway for him to be in the third movie and being like, adding in a mystery of, oh, the person I work for, oh, just wait till you find out who that is. Okay, whatever, great. But I don't know, give us a little more. Like, just throughout the movie, it just felt very unnecessary for us to have Idris play such a small role. And it wasn't even like a small dynamic role, you know what I mean? I don't know. I didn't like it. I felt like he was very underutilized. It pretty much reminded me of Demon Hensu in A Quiet Place Part 2 when I was like, why the hell do y'all have this accomplished ass actor playing this minuscule role? Like, what was the point? That's how I felt with Idris in this. But he's Idris and he's always fun to watch. Now, we get a little montage of Tyler trying to strengthen himself. He has 6 weeks to go out the cast and out the broken leg and get himself battle ready. And y'all, in the montage when he's exercising and getting himself, ready for battle, his legs looked unusually skinny. Am I tripping? Like, I would expect the action star to have like some really bulked up legs. I don't know if I'm tripping, but his legs looked really, really skinny to me in these montage scenes. But anyway, when we're first introduced to our villains, we get one brother in prison. And then we have another brother outside of prison, right? And the brother outside of prison, let me see if I can find his name. The brother outside of prison is who we pretty much spend the bulk of the movie going up against. Okay, I think the brother was, I don't know the brother's name. Okay, so like I just looked at it listed in the cast, but I can't pronounce it, so whatever. I'm just gonna refer to him as the brother and the uncle. That's how he will be referred to. But we pretty much spend the bulk of the movie with the brother / uncle being the main villain that we are up against. Now, when we are first introduced to the brother, he is being told that his brother that is in prison his prison sentence is being extended for 10 more years. Now, I'm unclear on how long he has been in prison thus far. We do know he killed a DEA agent. So I feel like you get sentenced to life, or maybe 20 years to life or something like that. But it's unclear how long he's been in prison. However, the wife does make mention of the kids haven't seen the son in a few weeks. So I'm also unclear on how long his family has been in prison with him. I don't know if they've been doing the whole bid with him. Now, when the brother/uncle gets the news that his brother's prison sentence has been extended for 10 years, he goes to meet up with the governor, who he is like responsible for putting this governor into power, right? And this whole scene, you can kind of read the scene and know that the governor finna get killed. And the governor was stupid. Like, the governor has protection and they going to follow him as him and the guy are talking. And he kind of waves them to like, okay, you know, y'all need to follow me, stay right there. No, you have protection for a reason. They should be following you. I didn't think that made sense. I mean, it makes sense because I get it. You feel like y'all partners and y'all work together. And I guess you feel like you can trust them. But baby, you just sentenced his brother to 10 more years in prison. But the governor also makes mention of, look, your brother killed a DEA agent. The Americans are down, like, on my back. And hey, I broke the rules and I let him have his family in prison. Now, at the time we see this conversation, we don't know. Like, we haven't seen the wife and kids in prison. We don't know they're in prison. So when the governor said, let him have his family, I'm thinking, like, your family members is already sentenced to prison. We just put y'all in a jail together. Like, that's what I thought he meant. Like, y'all know that movie when old boys like, shoot, take me to jail. I got family in there. So that's what I was thinking. So then when we see the wife and kids, I'm like, wait the hell a minute. You got your children being raised behind bars, and they were like prisoners themselves. Like the room that the wife and kids are in, it is like a big cell. It's not like a regular little cell, but they're locked in. Like, they're prisoners. Now, the governor is pretty much telling the brother/uncle, look, sorry, ain't nothing I can do for your brother. Like, he killed a DEA agent and he basically finna just rot in prison. Now, I thought this part was crazy. As the governor is talking to old boy, he picks up this like pitchfork and he does it very slowly. It ain't like it's a quick motion. He slowly picks up the pitchfork. And I'm looking at the governor like, baby, what you think he's gonna do? Like, what do you think he's picking this up for? And he stabs the governor in the throat. But the crazy part to me was, and of course his henchmen killed the governor's like protective people, but I kind of feel like that was unfair. Like, the person I'm meant to protect is dead, baby. You ain't gotta kill me. Just let me go on my way. But but anyway, there's a person digging, like there's work being done in this little like land area, and the person just continues digging and just buries the governor. And I'm just like, I thought that was crazy. But I will say, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the story or the dialogue that we get here, I do appreciate the pacing of the movie. Pretty much like 20 minutes in, we get right to it. Like 20 minutes into the movie, that's when the mission starts. That's when we get to the prison. So I did really enjoy that. And the action, y'all, we are really getting some good action movies this year. This action movie, the action sequences in this movie were so freaking good. Y'all, okay, so we got, first of all, the prison break scene, the fighting through the yard in the prison break, fighting through the prison, just the whole insanity of that. And I love like the continuous shots that we get in that sequence. We get a really great car chase, like this whole factory scene, a train sequence, a train versus the helicopter sequence, breaks out on the train. Like, it was a lot of like, oh shoot. Like, it was very, like, I was so hyped and it was so entertaining. We get like a high rise sequence that, you know, we hanging hanging off the edge of a high rise. We get a parking garage sequence. We get a amazing ass scene in like the gym area where we get some really cool kills with this gym equipment. Like, y'all, they did that. Like the stunt work, the fight choreography, the shootouts, the explosions. I was just like, goddamn. Like, it was so freaking good. So Tyler gets to the prison and he is accompanied by Nick and Yaz. And Nick and Yaz, brothers and sisters. Nick is the person that is pretty much kind of like Tyler's handler. Like, she brings the missions to him, but this came straight to him, and he was just telling her like, didn't you hear about me? I'm a big deal. They just came straight to the source. This what we doing. But he does not tell her that this is his ex-wife's family. He doesn't give her that information right off top. Now, another negative for me is it's not necessarily so much the family. Like, I'm fine with the wife and daughter. The wife played a good part. The daughter is pretty much just in the background, like, as she should be. And I wish the son would have been in the background like the daughter. And I feel like this was the son, Sando, did such a disservice to the film, particularly when you're following up a movie where we had a very endearing and likable like preteen boy. You're gonna follow that up with like an annoying, insufferable teenage boy, like preteen boy. That it don't work. It don't work. So the second we get Sando, the writing is on the wall. You know he's going to be trouble. First of all, Sando and his sister are in the little prison bunk bed sleeping. His dad comes in rustling around with them, and the mom is like, it's hard enough for them to sleep in here. Don't wake them up. So they end up getting into this little tussle, and the dad smacks the mom. When he leaves, Sando gets up, right? And he says something to the mom where he's agreeing with everything the dad said. Like, oh, I do need to grow up hard. I want to be a part of like his dad's little militia army gang group. Like, he wants to be in affiliation with them. You just know off rip he gonna be trouble. Then when Tyler gets to the prison to break them out, the son is like, who that man? And it was very much giving me like vibes of like, if your mother gets divorced from your dad and then she brings home her first boyfriend and the son is like, who that man? Like, that was very much giving me that. Like, he had an attitude off rip. And I was just like, the writing is on the wall. He's going to be trouble. But like I said, this was like the entire prison break, getting them out was really good. Now, I will say I was confused on how this turned into like a prison break. I was like, how the hell all the prisoners get the hell out? Like, but they did have it where for some reason the prisoners are sleeping on the ground outside. We're not like in prison. It was very weird. Like, they were sleeping outside. And it was also weird. I was confused because the brothers are foreign. I mean, that's how they came off to me. Their accent, where it looked like they're from. But they were saying they're from Georgia. And I was like, huh? Is it more than one Georgia? Because the only Georgia I know is the southern state right above my state. I was very confused. Like, is there a foreign Georgia? I don't know. So he gets the family out of where they're locked in, and we're trying to quietly get out. And of course, the mom is feeding the son some story like, oh, your dad coming too, he gonna meet us, etc., etc. We finna meet up with your dad. And the little girl drops a toy as we're trying to sneak out. The little kids always drop a toy. I mean, now, when we drop the toy, we get spotted. And that's when all hell kind of breaks loose. We're trying to get out of here. And the team that's on the outside, Yaz and Nick, lead us to, well, wait, before they lead us to this cold area, we're trying to get out. And we have to like break through like this locked door. and it's like a ton of, I want to say it's like, I don't know, maybe 20 prisoners in here. I thought this was crazy. Like, I'm sitting here like, baby, everybody could just rush y'all, because yes, Tyler has a gun. A few people are trying to like encroach on him, but he, trying to keep them back. But I'm like, baby, it's like a whole classroom of prisoners in here. Now, when we get to where we're trying to exit, it's like this cold chute, right? And it was very obvious that the kids were going to make it out, and the mom and Tyler would be stuck in prison, and he would have to try to fight and get him and her out. That was obvious, but it didn't hurt the enjoyment of, the scene, kind of feeling and knowing that was going to happen. It was predictable, but that was perfectly fine. And once we get the kids out and we're trying to, like, on our way to get the mom out, that's when her husband pops up, and we have a really good fight with Tyler and the husband. And I was shocked that he went on and died so soon in the movie. I was like, oh, like that's it? Like he dead already? I thought he would be with his brother going after his family, but nope. He died. And it was like oh my God, it was so sick. Like his hand got like split. It was crazy. But the wife came in at the end. I mean, Tyler pretty much already did the kill shot, but the husband went down, and she came in at the end and just bopped them. So that's why I'm like, I couldn't stand the son. The daughter was in the background. The wife was in the background enough, but in the forefront enough where she wasn't aggravating or annoying character. And she kind of had moments where she kind of held her own in him trying to save and get her out of here. At least in the more beginning part during this prison section, she hits the husband, and then we got a slew of prisoners coming down towards us, so we can't get out this little chute. We got to find another way out. The exit we have, the only way to get to that exit is to go through the common yard, which is insanity. The prisoners are trying to get their prison break. They going buck wild. And I'm sitting here like, literally watching like, okay, I don't know how the hell they scripted this. Like, how in the hell are they going to get through an entire freaking prison break, like prison yard fight? This scene was so good. I love how the whole movie is shot and directed. Sometimes it can be annoying how they shoot fight sequences and action sequences where it's a lot of like fast cutaways. No, I love how this was shot all around. I wasn't the biggest fan of the script, but the way it was shot and choreographed and the action sequences, I mean, it was literally, top. Not like, I'm surprised that, like, how can Netflix do such quality sometimes but then make like the worst produce the worst stuff? I don't know. But we get this sequence where they're trying to get through the prison yard. It is so good. The wife has to fight, but then we get this, it's a few insane moments. First of all, it's a moment where Tyler gets knocked over the back of the head. I want to say he got knocked in the head with like a brick. And I love how they did this. And speaking of, I love the sound effects in the movie. Like all the sound effects with the action and the fighting, I feel like it was so good. Now, he is disoriented, and the way it's shot, it's a good little like suspenseful moment, because you got all this chaos going on. He's disoriented, and you're kind of like, is somebody finna like jump on him? What the hell is finna happen? The wife, she's trying to fight, but she getting dragged away. And Tyler is able to kind of get himself together and start fighting. Y'all. Okay, so as the prisoners are going crazy, the prison guards are out there trying to fight or whatever. Tyler gets, and I thought this was crazy when the prison guards started attacking Tyler. I'm like, baby, y'all need to focus on y'all prisoners. Why are you focused on this man? But Tyler is able to get one of the shields, and y'all, we get this bomb ass sequence where somebody threw like a Molotov cocktail. Baby, where'd that come from? Because the prisoners were sleeping on the ground. Who the hell had this little cocktail made and just ready to go? But anyway, y'all, I really want to know how the hell they filmed this. Tyler's whole arm is on fire and he ain't stop, drop, and roll. He is fighting niggas with his arm on fire. Y'all, it was so fly. It was so cool. Like, I was just like, okay, but it's for real. Like, he said, I almost died on my last mission. I'm about to really bring it for y'all. He was literally fighting with his arm inflamed. It was so crazy. And he ends up getting the wife out. We get through the yard. Nick like blows the door and we're able to get out. And the dad/brother, he's part of like this like gang, this army, and his men are coming after us. We get in the car and the son's still being annoying. We already know what's finna be up with him because he's like, where's my dad? I thought you said he was finna meet us or whatever. And this is when, okay, we're trying to get out. We're in the cars. We get amazing like car chase scene. And we end up crashing. We go to like this factory. We're trying to fight through and get through that. We get on this train and y'all, we have, okay, so something else I love is the main person doing all the mission and fighting in the first one was just Tyler. Like, Nick came in at the end. I love the fact that she is in this time around. Like, she getting it out the mud. Like, she has so many fight sequences. It was so good. Particularly, I think my favorite with Nick is this train sequence. She's on the train in a different car from everybody else. She's by herself. She's like in that main front car where I think the driver normally be or whatever. And she has to fight two people because the warring like war that's going on, they send these two helicopters. So one helicopter Tyler takes out, the other helicopter the men come down. So Nick has to fight two men. Y'all. Oh my God. I'm talking about, I feel like I was holding my breath like watching this scene. It was so freaking good. But she is able to take out both guys in like one of the, y'all, do they have like awards? Okay, like, you know how they have like best supporting actor, best director. Do we have awards for like best stuntman, best like fight choreography? We need awards for that. Like, I don't know if we do. If we do, then these folks need to be nominated. And if we don't, we need to start handing out them damn awards because baby was kicking ass. Like, it was so freaking good. And Tyler, of course, great fight sequences in this little train. This whole train sequence was so good. But then once we done with the fighting, baby, the brakes is out. I was like, oh goddamn. And that's something I love with the movie. Like I said, the mission starts like 20 minutes into the movie and they do really well with how long the action sequences are and how it feels like it's not letting up. Now we do get the drab moments in between where, like I said, I wasn't very into the story and the dialogue. Particularly, there's a moment when at the very end, at the very end when he gets the family safe and his ex-wife comes and they have this little heartfelt conversation because he left when his son was not. I'm just like, baby, we don't need that. Like, we got enough of Tyler's personal backstory in part one sprinkled in. Like, that was, we did not, I don't know, maybe everybody else feels different, but I just felt like we did not need to really delve into it. First of all, it was lackluster. It was boring. I feel like it was no chemistry whatsoever between Tyler and his ex-wife. It felt awkward. They felt like, I don't know, like they are estranged, but they felt like complete strangers. Like, it just felt, I didn't feel what you would think a scene like that is supposed to be giving the audience. I didn't buy it. I don't buy it. That's his ex-wife. I don't buy that was ever in love. I don't buy they shared the child. Like, I just did not buy it at all. So that's, like I said, that plays into why I just felt like going this route with the storyline was pretty useless. I feel like we didn't need that. Like, we could have just did like part one where he's just taking up a mission. Maybe we could have had a time jump between him getting well, because of course he's going to like rush to take on a mission after being half dead because there's a personal state. But we didn't need that. Like, he could have just recuperated and went the hell back to work. Like, it would have worked out just fine. Y'all could have literally done the exact same story as far as the two brothers, their little army, and having his wife and kids in prison without them having to be connected to Tyler. It just was unnecessary. But anyway, now after we ain't got no brakes, the train crashes. Now we end up getting to safety. We're on a plane. Yaz is on the phone because they need a doctor for the little girl. She got hurt. He's setting things up. He say where he going. Y'all, this was so obvious. Like, he's sitting in front of the kid, giving away where we finna go, and he leaves the phone sitting there because the kid is like, oh, I could use something to eat. Like, obvious, I'm trying to get you out the room so I can get the phone and tell my uncle where the hell we are. Now, because the kid eventually learns that, like, I thought you said it was meeting up with dad, etc. He learns his dad is dead. And of course he turns to Tyler mad at him, like, you killed my dad. Now, Sando calls his uncle to tell where they're going, and that pissed me off so bad. And when Yaz gets killed, I blame the kid. Like, and it's like, obviously, I mean, the blame is on the kid. If you hadn't told your uncle where we were, the ensuing fight would not have happened, and your uncle wouldn't have been able to kill Yaz. Like, it's really that simple. And I feel like that was, for me, a bad decision on the movie part, because I really love this group of Tyler, Nick, and Yaz, and I felt like he died too prematurely. If y'all are going to make this a trilogy, I would have liked for us to come back in a third movie with Tyler, Nick, and Yaz and have the gang still together. Now, maybe Yaz could have died in the third movie, but I feel like this was too soon, especially considering the fact that we didn't get him in the first movie. Like, this is our first time going through the movie with the trio. I don't know. I felt like he died too soon. Like, I would have liked for him to come back in the third movie. But this is not the Fast and the Furious universe. He dead. He not coming back to life. Now, we end up where Sando has a conversation with Tyler, right? And they have a little moment where Sando ends up being like, yeah, I called my uncle, he on the way. But it's like too late, because literally the uncle is here. We hear the helicopter, before, like, kind of as the little boy is like, yeah, I called my uncle. So one thing that really annoyed, first of all, the little boy just got on my damn nerves. Like, I was just like, look, don't you can't save everybody. Like, just let him go. Like, literally, I was just like, let him go. But one thing that irked me was when we get outside, and I was gonna be mad if the doctor and the people that was helping us would have got killed, but they told them, just walk calmly out the building. They was able to get out. I would have been so pissed, even more pissed at that little boy. The people would have died. But we get outside, Tyler, the family, and his crew, and we're going to get in cars so we can, like, get out of here. We're trying to run the hell away. The little boy hop his ass out the car to go run to meet his uncle, because he was texting on the phone with his uncle, which his mom, finds and snatches the phone from him. I'm literally like, if y'all don't just let this dumbass little boy go, like, so Yaz ends up running after the kid. This scene irked me so bad, and it felt so nonsensical. The kid is running towards his uncle, but he suddenly stops. And we get like a 90-second scene. I might be exaggerating. Maybe it wasn't 90 seconds, but it felt like a long time of Sando sitting there just staring and contemplating, should I go to my uncle? And with Yaz saying, like, trying to convince him not to and to come back to his mother. But I'm saying, like, this is so stupid. It don't make no sense. This kid has already made up his mind multiple times. When he called his uncle on the plane to tell him where we were. When he was texting his uncle to go meet up. When he hopped out the damn car. Like, he has continuously made the decision to go be with his uncle. So why in this moment, when I bring my ass back here to finally pick you up, do you just stand here confused on whether or not to come to me? That just didn't make any sense. Like, and it just felt stupid, and it felt like they just threw that in for like a dramatic moment, but it was really stupid. Like, this kid has continuously made the decision. So why now that you're here, are you sitting here frozen? So of course the kid runs off to be with the uncle, and Nick and Yaz end up in a little gunfight, and the local police end up mixed up in this fight, and we have Tyler with the mom and daughter, and they're coming after them, and they're trying to fight, and the Sando ends up staying in the car with the two brothers. Have an uncle that they have been raised up with. He's there too, and the dumbass kid got the nerve to ask the guy, is he gonna kill my mama? And the guy is pretty much like, look, little nigga, like, look, you little dumbass. If you didn't want your mama to die, you should have never called your uncle and tell him where you were. And this, for me, they try to make it like the boys just suddenly, like it's suddenly hitting him. No, like you been knew what, bruh, they've been trying to kill y'all since y'all left the prison. Like, he even said out of his mouth as they were shooting at them, do they know like we're in the car too? Bruh, like you been knew they were trying to kill y'all. And then also you heard your father say to your mother, threatening her life, I just raised the kids without you, you won't be missed. What the hell did you think that meant? Like, this whole sequence with him hesitating to run his uncle, and then sitting there like as if it's suddenly hitting him when the guy's like, oh, if you didn't want your mama to die, you shouldn't have called. He been knew all this. Like, this was not some revelation. Like, that just irked my nerves so freaking bad. Now, let me see. This is when we get the parking garage, the high rise, and the weight room, exercise equipment, fight and action sequences, which y'all, at this point, I've seen this movie like 2 or 3 times. Just because I just want to rewatch these damn action sequences. The high rise with Nick, she's fighting these guys, and then she ends up falling, and Tyler gotta come save her, and we hanging off the edges. Y'all, oh my God, it was just so freaking good. Now, the kills in that freaking weight room, I want to say that's my favorite of the movie. That's my favorite of the movie. I ain't want to call it my favorite, but yeah, that's my favorite of the movie. It was really, really good. Then we end up hanging off the edge, and this is when the uncle comes over, like toying with Tyler. He shoots him in the hand, and this is another moment that's very predictable because Nick is knocked out, and he's holding her with one arm, hanging on by one arm, and it's very obvious that she's going to wake up in the nick of time and shoot the uncle, which she does. But again, even though that's predictable and I saw it coming very easily, it was still enjoyable. It didn't ruin my enjoyment or experience of the movie just because, like, I feel like just because a movie is predictable or a moment is predictable, it doesn't necessarily for me take away from the movie. Now, we're trying to get to the roof and take over their helicopter, and one letdown for me was the bad guy. One of his goons was a female. I thought we was gonna get like a badass chick fight, which is like my favorite in the action movie. I love to see a really fly chick fight, but we didn't get that, and we didn't get her like I thought we would. We did get some really good stuff with her. She ends up in the stairwell with Yaz, and we got a few crazy scenes. One with Yaz and the girl that was a bad guy, and one with Nick and I can't remember who it was. It might have been the uncle, like shooting at each other. Like, it was reminding me of like old school cowboy when you just be shooting right at each other, right in front of each other. I thought it was really good. But then when we are getting to the roof, and we're like running, and our back is to the door we just came, which I was like, why do we just leave the door open and leave our backs exposed like that? But the uncle comes through and shoots Yaz. And I gotta say, I guess I was being an idiot, but I was kind of confused because I was like, why we get killed if we got bulletproof vests? But I guess, it can go through the bulletproof vest, or you can get hit in places that the vest doesn't cover. But when Yaz got shot in the back, I was just like, how is he dead? Like, didn't it hit the bulletproof vest? But I don't know. He died. And I was, at that moment, I was like, kill that little boy. Like, let him go. I felt like Scarface. He was like, let her go, man. Let her go. Like, you can't save everybody. Like, the hoes don't want to be saved. I was so freaking mad. And then I'm gonna jump to the end. We get to the end and Yaz pops up and she's holding a gun to the uncle, wanting to kill him for her brother, and he's threatening the kid's life. And Tyler got the nerve to say, Nick the boy. I'm saying, like, the boy got my brother killed. I felt like Vanessa Williams in Soul Food, when she was like, the family after my husband. I felt like, yo, the boy got my brother killed. Like, I was so, I was a child. Look, I get it. He a kid. He a dumb little young preteen. I was a dumb little young preteen. But baby, we did life or death. Like, we ain't got room for you to be making and being stupid. You got my motherfucking brother killed. Now, when we end up getting out of here on the helicopter, the kid, of course, like I said, is with the uncle, and we make it to safety. And then that's when we get the scene where Tyler's ex-wife pops up. This is when Nick discovers, the actual situation and how Tyler is connected. And Tyler ends up getting a phone call from the uncle. And, oh yeah, another negative for me, it's just a lot in the story that I don't like, but I just thought about another thing that I didn't like. When it comes to the villains in the movie, I feel like getting revenge for somebody killing your brother, it's a very universal motive. Like, that's not a complicated motivation. It's like, your family member gets killed, you want revenge. Like, that is so cut and dry and simple. They gave us so many like flashbacks and backstory on the brothers, where we get a flashback when they were kids and some people was bullying and beating up his brother, and he caught a beat down from his dad to the point he lost his hearing, and the dad was saying, you fight for your brother till your last drop of blood. We ain't need that. Like, we did not need the flashbacks and backstory of the brothers, because like I said, anybody is going to want to get revenge for you killing their brother. Like, that is a very cut and dry motivation. We did not need this extra story with them. I felt like that could have been cut out. It was very unnecessary in my personal opinion. Like, that was nothing extra or special to be like, oh, now I'm motivated to avenge my brother. Anybody gonna be motivated to avenge their brother? Like, we got a brother motivation of like avenging my brother in like one of the Die Hard movies. We got avenging my brother motivation in the Fast and the Furious movie. Like, it is a very just typical cut and dry motivation. We do not need any backstory. Like, that, very unnecessary. Now, the brother calls Tyler, and Tyler ends up hopping in the car to go be the Lone Ranger and fight, have this final showdown with the uncle by himself. And Nick tries to get in the car, the door's locked, but it's very obvious she gonna, pop up where he at. So, now this didn't make any sense to me. The uncle is at this like compound thing with all his goons, right? And when Tyler pops up, now he kills a lookout on the roof, and he like blows up the plane and the cars, so I guess people, people can't leave. And then he has a fight with one of the like main goons whose face we see throughout the movie. But that's it. He ends up going into like this church or something where the uncle has the kid strapped to like explosives, and we have a final showdown with just the uncle. But I was very confused, like, where the rest of the army? Like, we had more people left, and Tyler ain't kill them all. Before Tyler gets there, we got a bunch of goons, and I thought it was crazy because the man says to the uncle, 10 of our men were killed. And I'm saying, like, that's it? That was all? It was just 10? Because it felt like they killed way more than 10 of y'all men. But he shoots him. But we still had unless he shot him and everybody else was just like, oh, hell no, we're not finna work for him. But I don't know. I just felt like we still had people left. Where were they? So, because he's threatening the boy because he got the explosive strapped to him, Tyler gives up his gun or whatever, and the uncle tries to get the kid to shoot Tyler to avenge his dad. Of course, the kid doesn't do it. And just as it seems like the uncle finna kill Tyler, that's when Nick comes in, but the creaky ass door gives her away. And this is when we get the whole her holding the gun and the guy being like, the boy, Nick. But I will say this little final fight with the uncle and Tyler, it was good. It was good enough. But I will say all the crazy like action sequences we got throughout the movie, I did expect more from this final showdown, this final action and fighting sequence we got. I thought it would be like just bigger and just really close out the movie on a bang. But like I said, it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. It was enjoyable. It was a good one-on-one fight. To go from like all those crazy sequences, the prison break sequence, the high rise, the train, I just was expecting something else to be like, oh shoot, which I feel like this didn't give me like, oh shoot, it just gave me like, oh, okay, like I'm entertained, this is good. But I also felt like it was a very like just simple end. He just shoots the uncle in the head. And I don't know, I just expected like a real just badass ending, like a crazy like moment or like a crazy kill, and that didn't happen. But it was still good. It was still entertaining. And the dumbass kid got the bomb off him, and he was over there with Nick because she had got shot or whatever. Now I will say, I also don't like how underutilized Nick is in his final sequence. Like, she pretty much is just here to pop up so that Tyler can get out of, his predicament with the gun pointed at him, and he ain't really got no options. But I was just like, we could have used her a lot more in this scene. And like I said, where was the rest of the guy army? She could have been like fighting some folks. So I don't know. I just felt like that ending was a little lackluster for me. But overall, I feel like this was a really, I want to say above average, top tier action movie. Even with how generic I feel like and bad I feel like the story was, they really just go so hard with the action that, you know what, I'll forgive it. I definitely like the first one better, but this is definitely a very, very solid follow-up and a really good sequel. I mean, the fighting, the shootouts, the destruction, Nick, Tyler, yes, I really love them. Like I said, I connected a lot more to the kid in the first movie. I felt a lot more empathy for him. Like, I cared about the outcome. I cared about what happened to him. I can't say I really cared about this family. Can't say I really cared about what happened to them. Obviously, I ain't like want nothing to happen to him besides the little boy, but I didn't care like I did with the kid in the first movie. I will say, I'm not really a Chris Hemsworth fan. I don't like him. I don't not like him. I can't really recall. I'm trying to think if I ever really even seen him in anything besides Extraction. I can't recall. I've never seen the Thor movies, and I feel like, I don't know, maybe I saw him in something I just can't recall, but I liked him very much in the first movie, but he felt a little dull here. He felt a little boring for me. The acting felt very just one tone. It was a little lackluster, but I feel like the big draw of this movie is the violence. Like, it's the action. Like, I'm thinking of like the Eminem song, like, hi kids, do you like violence? Like, yes, we do. And it's here. If you were disturbed by the Will Smith slap, this movie is gonna disturb you, because violence. Like, it is violent. And it's violent in the best way, because, don't we love violence? Now, I will say, I like how they left the ending open-ended for a third. Yas is dead. Nick and Tyler ends up getting arrested and going to prison. And I thought this was crazy. So he just willy-nilly gives the family like $1 million. There you got stashed, but okay, whatever. Now, Idris ends up getting him out of prison. We like ride in the car like, baby, we free, we out of prison. But Idris say, hey, if you take a job, I can get you out of prison. Baby, I'm already out of prison. Like, I can't just stay out. Like, you already got me out. That ain't make no sense to me. But he also gets Nick out of prison because Tyler is like, he'll do the job, but he need his team. But this is what I mean. He need his team. We should not have killed Yaz off already. That was just so premature for me. And we're going to obviously need like another teammate. It can't just be the two of us for the third movie. And it should have just been Yaz. It should have just been Yaz. Now, let me see if I have any other notes in here that I didn't get to. I got right here. Hated being introduced to Yaz just for him to die. Like, that irked me so bad. I liked the villains. I liked everything pretty much as far as the action portion of the movie. Just some really great jaw-dropping action. And I'm going to give Extraction 2 a solid 7 out of 10. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed this. If they would have given me a story that I liked as much as the first movie, I might have easily given this like I want to say like a 7.5 or 8. Like, I really enjoyed this. Oh my, like this was very good. And I'm excited for a third movie. Like, I want y'all to go ahead and roll that third movie on out. I want to say it's been 3 years since the first one. Did the first one come out? Because I know the first one came. I want to say it's been 3 years because I started my channel in 2021, and I want to say Extraction came out a year before I started my channel. So yeah, I feel like it's been 3 years. I want to wait another 3 years for the third film, and I really hope that they bring it for the third film, and we can just get like a badass action trilogy. Let me know in the comments, how did you feel about Extraction 2? How did you feel about the first Extraction? Because that's my motherfucking movie. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I'll see you in the next one.